Can I have a motion to go back into public session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District for April 8th, 2019. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Devin, Kieran, and Chimene, and remain standing for a moment of silence for our armed forces and those in our community who have lost loved ones, especially the mother-in-law of our board trustee, Reshmi Bose, the father of Jennifer Pearson, the grandparent of Aaron Viteri, and the grandparent of Daniel Sattarelli.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It looks like the middle school brought lots of nice stuff to look at today.
I have been looking forward to this evening, and since I saw that the middle school was presenting, first of all, welcome to our families, to our Board of Education meeting. Welcome to our middle school faculty and staff who are joining us this evening. It's wonderful to have you with us. The topic is one that really interests me and excites me. I cannot wait, boys and girls, to see about your learning in Scratch and Makey. Those are two, one's a software and one is a actual hardware device that I'm really looking forward to see how you've used it and how you've learned with both. At this point, I am going to turn the presentation over to Mildred E. Strang Middle School Principal, Mrs. Horowitz.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Hatter, Mrs. O'Shea, Mr. Cole. Tonight, we present our middle school's good news. And before I begin, I just wanted to share why I'm dressed like this. So today is Marvel Monday, and also to dress like someone who inspires you. And I'm dressed this way because since I didn't have a Marvel t-shirt, I decided to represent my son who has Fragile X syndrome and autism, because he's my superhero and he motivates me to help all students with disabilities, especially kids with Fragile X syndrome and autism. So that's why I'm dressed this way. So today I have the honor of presenting Mr. Nansen and Mrs. Sabella with their wonderful students. MESMS has been involved in several activities throughout the year. Within the last month alone, we've been involved in design thinking cohorts and projects, training on coding and ways to further develop our empathy STEAM lab. We're working on recycling, as you can see by the basketball hoop. And we've been doing creative collection bins around. All students are involved in collecting, sorting, and distributing and contributing to the recycling program. Just today, my 6th grade English teachers had their students read an article on recycling and plastics. So now, there's going to be a petition going around to get rid of straws and plasticware in the cafeteria. We had to catch up with Brookside. As we continue to work with the whole child, one of my health teachers helps students learn how to use laughter therapy to help decrease stress. Maybe I can bring her here to help you. By the end of the quarters, the students will leave with a coping skills box that they created. March was Wellness Month, where we discussed the body and the mind with our students. We had Holocaust survivor Betty Knoop come and speak to our 8th grade social studies classes, and our very own Debbie Lewis, who's a daughter of a survivor, presented to the entire 8th grade. Each teacher has embraced an aspect of our 2020 vision and truly believe that we're the home of eSTEAM. We're constantly developing and restructuring our lessons and activities to meet the needs of our students. We truly believe in character development and teaching the whole child. Tonight, Mr. Nansen and Mrs. Sabella with their students will present on a lesson that showed their empathetic and technology-based project.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share what we've been doing in the science classroom. And parents and siblings, thank you for coming. Exploration, discovery, and understanding are synonymous with the 6th grade science curriculum. And students are always on a journey to understand how and why phenomena occur in our world, and more importantly, kind of how those things affect people. We recently started a unit on electricity, and I was at a conference with Amanda Burns, who we all know, the tech expert here, and I saw this device called a Makey, and I said, wow, that's really cool. And I figured if someone knew about it, it would be Amanda. And of course, she didn't know about it. She was an expert on it. And she sent me a PowerPoint, and she knew the ins and outs of it. And I was like, wow, this is great. We just started a unit. You know, it would really be great if you could come in and, you know, we could maybe do something for the day. So she came in, and she showed the kids how to use it. And of course, they loved it. And it really got us thinking about the connection between electricity and technology and how many things are being done. And sometimes we hear about technology with young kids in sort of a negative way, but what we plan on showing you here tonight is really something that's very positive. We started, I told the kids a story about a coach that I had when I was in high school who got in a tragic accident and ended up being a quadriplegic. And he was a soccer coach of mine, and he was able to come to all of our practices and our games, and he drove himself half hour. He was able to drive, he was able to he had a wheelchair with all this technology in it, and it got us thinking. That was some years ago, and it got us thinking, wow, what's out there today? If that was the technology back then, what's out there today? What can we kind of do to contribute?
Yeah. So we talked to the kids about assistive technology, which is a term that we use often as teachers and as parents, but they may not truly recognize until we really talked about things that we have right in the classroom that are pieces of assistive technology. FM systems, maybe for people who have auditory processing issues, or voice to text, where you can talk and the text will come up as you speak. Or the opposite, if you maybe use Audible, that helps you listen to stories if maybe you're dyslexic. If you have a physical impairment, you would use assistive technology. So we talked a little bit about that, and people who use assistive technology in their everyday lives. So we thought that it would be a great idea. Mr. Nansen came to me and said, Sue, what do you think? Should we try this? I said, let's go. And I think we were both just blown away by what they created as our students, how bright they are, because they're doing things that I don't even think I could do. And we were just really, really impressed.
So we've heard about the sustainable goals, and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development places good health and well-being at the center of this new vision plan. We kind of keyed in on a couple of the other aspects: innovation and reducing the inequalities that exist in our world. And again, it got us thinking, well, what can we do? How can we contribute something for people in need? And that's kind of bringing us to tonight. So we challenged the students to, under the guise of these goals, to come up with a controller that would be considered a non-traditional controller. And not only that, but they had to use the programming Scratch to develop a game. So it was very intensive, and but hopefully you will see what they've created is amazing. Ms. Siegel, did you have a video? There's a short video of some kids in the classroom the other day.
So Mr. Nance and Ms. Abella invited our students from the 812 class to come and try the many projects that you see here, and they were amazed and how involved they were, and it just gave them another way to express themselves and to be involved in technology and STEAM.
I just want to add one thing. It was also great to see all of the students who developed those games and their reaction and how welcoming they were and excited for those students who were coming in and playing the games and so happy. So we challenge you.
Yeah, so what we were hoping is that you would get up and maybe partake in some of the games and take a look at what's going on. So if you wouldn't mind. Yeah. I'm coming. Yes. Parents, yes, absolutely. If you haven't seen the games.
Oh yeah, we'll take all that. Take all that off.
That was really incredible. I've been wanting to see what Making Scratch were all about, and this was wonderful. I'm so impressed with our students. I'm so impressed with their innovation and their creativity and their ability to design. I think outside the box.
Yeah. I have to really commend our students. This was absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us. I want to just make a couple of quick points. First, the work behind this, on the surface, we're seeing a finished product, which is beautiful. But there's a lot of code that went into creating the games that you created. There's circuitry that goes into creating the games that we created, and you combine those all into this beautiful finished project, not to mention the other skills that went into this. You worked together. You negotiated code, you negotiated a game, and you figured out errors in the code, because I'm sure the code didn't work the first time around. It almost never does. And you corrected that. So I am so proud of you in that regard. And then Maria, raise your hand. So Maria shared with me that the games that were built are, she said, well, you know, what if somebody doesn't have use of their hands? They can use their feet. And when you think about video games, they're really not designed for someone who doesn't have use of their hands. And our students are not only creating and innovating and building, but they're doing it with heart. They're doing it for a meaning. And I'm so proud of the work that you put in. Thank you so much, boys and girls. And Mr. Nansen, Ms. Sabella, thank you so much for bringing this to our students. It's a wonderful, wonderful addition to the work you're doing. Is this the first year that you've done this?
This is the first year.
And look at the products that you've created.
My mind is blown. I told them today, I said, there was a little part of me in the back of my mind that didn't think this was gonna come to fruition, and that day I was blown away. This happened all day long.
Wow.
This is a tiny smidge. I said, I wish I could have brought everyone here. It was unbelievable.
You both should be so proud of yourselves, because this is a wonderful, wonderful addition to the program. There's so much learning that happens here. And I really commend you both for taking the risk, for trying something that you weren't certain how it would actually end up, but you tried it because it was good for kids, and I appreciate you doing that. To the parents in the room, thank you so much for supporting the work of the district. eSTEAM is this wonderful, wonderful approach to teaching and learning, and it's not successful without your help and your support. So thank you so much for giving us such wonderful children to work with each and every day. We appreciate it.
Cool, thank you.
At this point, we have a full meeting ready, so you're all welcome to say. It's going to be wonderful. Mr. Cole will talk about the budget a little bit, so you're welcome to say, or you can get a jump start on bedtime and homework and everything else.
And run, yeah.
Thank you all for coming out.
All right, we are up to public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on agenda-related items? Okay, we will move right on to the superintendent's update.
Okay, so thank you. There are a few items that I wish to share with the board and with the community. The first is with regard to a piece of legislation that you may have been hearing a bit about. It's not new legislation, but recently a light has been shined on this, and it's substantial equivalency. And it's just defined as the role of the public school in ensuring that private schools within our school district's catchment area are offering a substantially equivalent experience, educational experience for children. So substantially equivalent, it's been made very clear in the statute, is not equivalent. It's not the same. It will look different. Specifically at schools that have a religious affiliation, there will be a difference in the academic program. But that is something that has certainly caught my attention. It's caught Ms. O'Shea's attention, and we're working with our local BOCES to determine the mechanism that we'll use to evaluate and determine the substantial equivalency and whether the school districts are the independent schools are meeting that requirement. So it's something that we're mindful of. I just wanted to share that with the board, with the community as well. With regard to,
Wait.
please, I'm sorry.
There?
Yeah.
Sorry. So whose responsibility is it to ensure that they're providing this substantially?
So the responsibility,
Ours or theirs?
the responsibility to provide resides with the independent school. The responsibility for oversight is the public school district.
Okay.
So we are going to make a determination, yay or nay, that the education is substantially equivalent. If we determine that it's not substantially equivalent, that will open up a few doors to providing options for those students who are enrolled in that independent school.
Good.
Is this another unfunded mandate that we have to use our resources to determine in other schools? I mean, I can see where this can be very sticky, because I'm sure every private school out there thinks that they are giving the most appropriate education to their students.
You're right on all fronts in that regard. Yes, unfunded mandate, and yes, it's a dicey situation because we obviously work really hard to have a good relationship with the private schools that are in our school district's catchment area. I know Mrs. O'Shea interfaces with the private schools in our catchment area quite regularly, and now to come in and kind of assess the work that they're doing and evaluate the work that they're doing using a rubric presents a strain on the relationship.
Okay.
So it's something that we're certainly mindful of. More to come. We're required to have these evaluations completed by December 15th, 2021. So there is a lot of time given the relatively few schools that we have in our catchment area. Is there anything that you want to add? Just a couple of other items. Tomorrow night, our Brookside students will be presenting at the Yorktown Town Board meeting. They will be presenting their Don't Feed the Bag Monster presentation that they presented at the March 25th Board of Education meeting. We're excited there. I will be there, Ms. O'Shea will be there, and we're looking forward to supporting our students as they take their show on the road and advocate for better use of resources in the environment. And finally, I want to share that we had 5 students qualify for the International Science and Engineering Fair, which is a wonderful number. I'm so proud of the work of our science research program. We had students qualify through multiple venues this year, which is something that hadn't happened in quite some time. So we're so proud of that. And also the Westchester County math team. You don't hear about the math team in the county too often. The Westchester team placed, I believe it was 4th in Division A in the state. And of the 15 students on the Westchester County team, 5 of them were Yorktown High School students. So we were very well represented in that regard. So with that, I conclude.
That's it? Wonderful. Okay. All right. We're going to move on to personnel. So we have a couple of motions. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, motion that the following resolutions be approved. A is be it resolved, the board hereby authorizes the superintendent to execute a memorandum of agreement dated April 2nd, 2019, to acknowledge that the duties performed by the accountant incumbent to be appointed are rendered as confidential within the meaning of the Taylor Law, with the understanding that such status does not negate the inclusion of the title accountant within the recognition provision of Article 1A of the Clerical Association chapter of the Yorktown Congress of Teachers. And B, be it resolved that employee number 3005 be placed on paid administrative leave effective April 9, 2019, and will remain on paid leave pending an investigation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The personnel agenda. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion that the following be approved. Under classified personnel, we have part-time appointments, temporary appointments, addition to the substitute list, a coach appointment, a leave of absence, and a resignation. Under classified personnel, we have appointment to civil service and an addition to the substitute list.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And 4 items. We have a resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent that the board set the 2019-20 organizational meeting for Monday, July 8th, 2019 at 6 p.m. here in the Mildred Strang Middle School.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we're up to the budget adoption. So, did anybody have any questions? Any comments? Are we good with the budget the way it is? Tom, what is our number?
The number is 98,175,000.
98175,000.
So be it resolved that the annual school district budget for the fiscal year 2019-20 in the amount of $98,175,000 and the requisite portion thereof be raised by taxation on the taxable property of the district to be approved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much for your hard work on the budget this year. We're up to policies. This is a motion to approve the first read and adoption of the following policy. It is 1900, parental involvement and family engagement.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have another first read of the following policies and regulation. We have 6700 purchasing and 67R purchasing regulation.
So moved.
We don't even, it's actually
sorry.
just a first read. Does anybody have any questions on them? No. We're going on to the business office. Whereas the New York State education law requires the district to prepare, approve, and make publicly available the 1920 property tax report card. Therefore, resolved that the Board of Education of the Yorktown Central School District approves the 1920 property tax report card and authorizes the superintendent to publish it in accordance with the law.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Internal auditor, this is a motion to accept the response to the recommendations made by the internal auditor for the intensive review of extra classroom.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And RJT, a motion to approve the attached RJT indemnity agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Health and welfare, a motion to approve the following contracts for health and welfare services provided to resident pupils attending non-public schools in other districts for the 18-19 school year, and these are to Katona-Lewisboro.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Placements. A motion to arrange the following special education placements as of April 8, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Gifts, grants, and donations. A motion to accept with the following gifts, grants, and donations with gratitude. The Mohansick is $2,070 from the Mohansick PTA to fund the farm-to-table and pollination workshops for Mohansick students. And at Brookside, $1,049 from the Brookside PTA for a prismatic magic assembly for Brookside students.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're up to board comments. Anthony?
Yes. It's just the, everyone knows the best part of the board meeting is good news for probably everybody here. This is exceptionally good news. Just the state of the kids in our district are brilliant. I mean, this was wonderful. From the administration to Susan and Derek, I think. Darryl. His name was, they were brilliant. Ms. Horowitz runs an excellent school and just was amazed by the technology and the just ingenuity they have to put into that. So kudos to them. It was a great night.
Mike?
Yeah, just agree with Anthony. There's some really neat high-level stuff there from our students, which is always impressive to see and fun to play with. Also, just thank the administration for another great job on our budget cycle. I know that that's a tremendous amount of work, and you guys do a very good job and make our jobs a lot easier when we have all the information available when we need it. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Cheryl?
I just want to say thank you to the middle school. Week after week, we see the students come and demonstrate every letter of the acronym eSTEAM, and this was clearly another example of that. So I don't know how they managed to do it, but they really demonstrate so much support and success within eSTEAM.
Yeah, I can't say it any better.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It was an awesome assembly, and I am so grateful to that our staff has taken on and joined the bandwagon, and they really think outside the box, and without them, our students wouldn't be able to do what they do, so I'm grateful that we have the wonderful staff that we have. I also want to mention, I just want to tell you our thoughts are with Reshmi Bose and her family. They lost her mother-in-law this weekend, so I just want everybody to know that our thoughts are with them at that point. Ron, Lisa, Tom, anything?
Thank you to Tom and his team for assembling the budget. It's not easy work. There's so much that goes into it, so many moving parts. And Tom makes it look easy, but it's anything, he makes it look easy, but it's anything but. And thank you to our board. Your approach this entire budget cycle has been students first. And you've really been able to capture that in this budget. You've demonstrated a sensitivity to the taxpayer while making sure that our students get what they need. So I really appreciate the collaborative approach that this board has taken. So thank you all. Tom, thank you to you and your team for the work.
Are we good? Public comment? All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Good night.